Burt Macklin, FBI. I'm on the trail of FBI's most wanted Janet Snakehole. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong show. Mindhunter is back on Netflix with Season 2. Does it capture the lightning in the bottle that was Season 1? Season 2 picks up pretty much where Season 1 left off. We have Special Agent Holden Ford collapsing after he met with serial killer Ed Kemper in the hospital. Now in this season, the agents of the FBI's Behavioral Science Unit, or BSU, are still interviewing serial killers in their effort to really understand why they do what they do, to get this picture of them so that they can begin to profile people, just to build a profile, really, to create something so that they can catch future killers. And I gotta say, in this season, we get a lot of really cool serial killers. I mean, some of the ones that, well, if you follow true crime, you're like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna do this. Well, maybe they do. Maybe they meet your list, because it was just fun to watch who they interviewed as they interviewed them, and then you get more in-depth in just the conversations that take place, the interactions, because they don't always go as smoothly as the agents would like. This season also gives us a lot more depth on their characters themselves. So we have Anna Torv playing Dr. Wendy Carr, and we get just more insight, more background just into who she is and how she functions. And this is also the same by Agent Bill Tench, played by Holt McCallany. Now, most of this insight, though, comes as the result of the interviews with the serial killers. And it just adds that so much more level of interest, and it makes what's going on that much more interesting also. Just the way that the parallels run as they're doing interviews, it gives you the insight into the other people's lives. And sometimes it's shocking, sometimes it's not, but all the time it's like, ooh, that's pretty cool how they're weaving it in and out. We also get ongoing glimpses of BTK just like we did in Season 1, so we know that that is going someplace in the minds of the series creators. In the interviews with the convicted killers, some of the casting jobs are just stunning. I mean, Berkowitz, for one, is just spot on. It was so good at how they got an actor and performed the makeup on them to look so much like that killer. And then we also have other ones as well that really, really resemble true life killers. There's also a large case going on that occupies a lot of the agent's focus. And what that does is that adds tension to the story, but also to the characters themselves. And I love that we get to see the agents beginning to put into practice what they've been learning. All of this data that they've been collecting through their interviews, they're now trying to put it actually into real life use to create a profile to catch somebody. Now, one of the downsides, though, to this large focus of the case is that some of the other characters take a serious backseat in the series. I mean, sometimes they're not even visible for an episode or two, and that was kind of a bummer. The overall story of Mindhunter is just captivating, and I really love how they interweave just the characters' stories throughout, and that we get more glimpses through the interviews that they have with the serial killers, that there's little bits and pieces that come to light that may or may not reflect true reality in the agents' lives as well. And I just love how it just adds to the depth of the characters. The way the episodes are crafted creates a large amount of drama and tension. And the coloring and the framing of those scenes and just of the entire series, I mean, it's made to draw us in. It sucks us in and puts us just really intimate with some of the characters, just making us feel like we're kind of there. One of the things that I really appreciate in the series is the use of sound and sound effects. When the agents are interviewing the serial killers, there is this high-pitched tone that is playing throughout the interviews. Now, it's at a very low level of volume, but it's there and it is audible. And as the course of the interview progresses, the frequency increases. And what that does is that adds tension, agitation, aggravation to us as viewers. And we may not actually know that it's happening. I mean, if your hearing is not good enough, or you're really more paying attention to the dialogue, what you're starting to feel is just the anxiety start to go in. I mean, it sucks you into the drama, and it's brilliant the way they did that. They also then At times, under certain interviews, they put crowd noise or chanting or just this arguments that are happening. And it's, again, at a very low level. But what it does is it reinforces what we're seeing on screen. And it makes us feel things that we may not know that we're feeling or realize that we're feeling. And what that does, it manipulates us. It drives us to feel what the filmmakers want us to feel during this part of the story. All this is done to suck us in, to make us so much more part of that story so that we want to keep watching. I couldn't find a lot of negatives within this season. I mean, it kind of bugged me that some of the characters took a serious backseat, like I said before, and that they were kind of missing. Actually, they were missing. They weren't kind of missing. They were missing from certain episodes, and they just their story parts took just not important at this time. But then there was also one episode in particular where a scene is going on, and as the camera is following and it's cutting to different scenes, the camera quality, the film quality changed. It was almost like a Super 8 type of film, and it had like some burn in the image and everything, almost like you would see if somebody was recording the footage that's happening and then it's being replayed back to you. But that's not what it was. It was just we were watching the actors take part in this action, and it didn't fit. Now, luckily, that was the only time they did it, and they didn't do it again, and it wasn't often within that. But just that out of place part of it, it could have been cool. It had been like news footage or, us seeing it from other people's perspectives, but that's not what it was. Throughout the 9 episodes, the characters are so rich and the tension is very palpable. I love the dramatization of these events. Now, I'm not saying that makes them fiction, but at the very least, it gives more of an entertaining narrative to real people and real events. Now, David Fincher, who directed some of the episodes in season 1, also returns to direct the first few episodes of season 2. But when it changes hands to other directors in the ensuing episodes after the first couple, I couldn't tell the difference. And that's really good because the tone, the feel, the look, all of that maintained a consistency throughout the series, which just made it that cohesive feel. So while I love David Fincher's vision, I love how he crafts shots, the other directors took that and ran with it and used it as well. Something that I found fun was the addition of a new character. It's an FBI assistant director played by Michael Cerveris. Now, what makes that fun is that in the show Fringe, he was the observer. And then we also have Anna Torv playing Wendy Carr in this. So you have both of them from Fringe in there, and they do get to interact. So for me, as a fan of Fringe, that was a lot of fun. If you didn't watch Fringe or you didn't care, then this means absolutely nothing to you. So we're going to move on. Now, while I'm not certain there is going to be a season 3, to do so seems like a complete no-brainer to me. We have believable and fairly likable characters, compelling and interesting cases, and certainly no shortage of serial killers for the agents to interview. If you enjoy true crime or crime dramas or even just a really good character-driven story, check out Mindhunter. For season 2, there is sex, nudity, profanity, 4.5 out of 5 couches. So are you a fan of the series? Did you watch season 1? Are you gonna watch season 2? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for catching with me.